The time by Caracas is 6 p.m. and this is CBX Business News. The business news headlines are brought to you by QMax Wealth Management, making more possible. A major push in cannabis, pressure bills in Antigua, and a global jobs warning. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Tuesday, April 21, 2026. I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, Jamaica expands its medicinal cannabis industry with new permit programs to boost access, support small farmers, and drive global competitiveness. Also ahead, Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party defends economic record, doubles down on no income tax policy in its manifesto launch ahead of Antigua's April 30 general election. And later, World Bank Group sounds alarm on jobs gap as surge in youth workforce outpaces job creation. Stay with us as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Safe to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using simplified customer due diligence requirements, also called CDD.
The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with news from Jamaica's medicinal cannabis industry. Jamaica is moving to strengthen its foothold in the global medicinal cannabis industry with the launch of new special permit programs aimed at expanding access and boosting economic opportunities. State Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Delano Seabright, says the reforms are designed to create a more inclusive and efficient industry, particularly for small farmers and traditional growers. Speaking at Thursday's official launch, he says the initiative marks a major step forward for the sector, with a focus on building an industry that is both inclusive and globally competitive.
So we also understand that the success of this industry must be inclusive. Small farmers, traditional cultivators, and local communities must have a seat at the table, full stop. Our policies are designed to ensure that the benefits of this industry are widely shared and that no one is left behind. Education and research remain central to our approach. By supporting scientific study and public awareness, we aim to unlock the full medicinal, therapeutic, research, and industrial potential of cannabis, whilst ensuring responsible use and informed decision-making. Furthermore, we are actively engaging with international partners to position our country as a competitive and respected player in the global cannabis space.
The new framework is expected to lower barriers to entry, especially for small and traditional growers, while supporting research and expanding Jamaica's presence in international markets. But the minister says growth must be matched with strong regulatory oversight.
I would like to underscore the point that this government is committed not only to the growth of the cannabis industry, but its integrity. And we will continue to enforce strong regulatory oversight to prevent misuse, protect consumers, and uphold the rule of law. We had a very good discussion at the Cannabis Development Task Force meeting just yesterday, and we discussed the need to ensure that those in the sector who are playing by the rules are properly protected, and those who are not playing by the rules will find ways to handle them properly.
That was State Minister in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Delano Seavright. Meanwhile, Jamaica's insurance sector is seeing a major financial boost from reinsurers as companies move to settle claims following Hurricane Melissa. New data from the Financial Services Commission, FSC, shows insurers received approximately $78 billion from reinsurance companies in 2025 to cover losses from the Category 5 storm. The funds represent a near six-fold increase driven by a 472% surge in reinsurance-related assets, which helped boost claims reserves across the industry. The impact of Hurricane Melissa significantly reshaped the insurance sector's balance sheet, with total industry assets climbing 28% to just over $729 billion. General insurers were hardest hit, with claims costs surging more than 220% to about $140 billion, driven almost entirely by storm-related payouts. As a result, profits in the general insurance segment collapsed, falling 99% to near zero, despite modest revenue growth. However, the FSC says the industry remains adequately capitalized, with insurers still meeting regulatory requirements even as solvency levels declined. Meanwhile, the life insurance segment was largely insulated from the storm's direct impact, with profits rising 20% to more than $21 billion. The data highlights the critical role of reinsurance in absorbing shocks and supporting the industry's ability to pay claims following major natural disasters. In company news, KLE Group Limited has returned to profit in 2025, but the company is still facing significant financial pressures. In its latest audited financial statements, the group reported revenue of just under $79 million, generating a gross profit of nearly $64 million for the year. This helped drive a net profit of approximately $3 million, a sharp improvement from a loss of more than $25 million in 2024. However, the company continues to face balance sheet challenges. Current liabilities stand at over $161 million compared to current assets of just over $27 million. The group also has an accumulated deficit of more than $138 million, while auditors have warned that these conditions may cast significant doubt on its ability to continue as a going concern. As part of its recovery strategy, KLE Group is pivoting into real estate, including the Bessa Villas project in St. Mary, which it expects will generate future revenue through rental income and property appreciation. Meanwhile, General Accident Insurance Company Jamaica Limited is reporting strong profit growth for 2025. According to its latest audited financial statements, the company posted a net profit of approximately $451 million, up from about $248 million in 2024. This was driven by improved insurance service results and stronger investment income, with total insurance revenue rising to more than $13 billion. The company's total assets also nearly doubled to over $23 billion, reflecting a significant increase in reinsurance contract assets. However, liabilities also rose sharply, particularly insurance contract liabilities, which climbed to nearly $15 billion. Overall, the results point to strong operating performance, even as the company manages higher claims and balance sheet pressures. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Tuesday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 109 stocks, of which 35 advanced, 51 declined, and 23 traded firm. Leading the winners are 138 Student Living Jamaica, MPC Caribbean Clean Energy, Productive Business Solution USD Ordinary Shares, and General Accident Insurance Company JA. While leading the losers are Mayberry Group, MFS Capital Partners, Edufoca Limited, and Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances. The main index declined by 1,439.18 points to close at 339,055.01 points. The junior market index declined by 46.68 points to close at 3,179.87 points. It's time for the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. In today's Market Education feature, we will be defining the term payroll. Payroll is the system used to compensate a company's employees. It involves recording hours worked, calculating wages, and issuing payments through direct deposits or checks. It also includes accounting for items such as taxes withheld, bonuses, overtime, sick leave, and vacation pay. To accomplish this, a significant amount of behind-the-scenes work is required, as payroll involves far more than simply calculating paychecks. It is a complex set of processes that depend on multiple teams working together. However, these challenges can be effectively managed through standardized procedures, the right service delivery model, and the use of modern technology to streamline payroll operations. That was the Market Education feature, brought to you by CARICRIS, Regional Ratings, Global Standards. And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next. The local news is brought to you by Derrimon Trading, better from the start. The Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, Tease the Senses, and Pulse Investments.
This project marks the celebration of our 30th Hall of Fame and aims to highlight the achievements, challenges, and invaluable lessons of those who have shaped and are shaping the future of our economy. Our aim is to celebrate the voices and stories of 30 remarkable leaders in Jamaica's private sector. Join us as we explore these narratives of resilience, leadership, and vision.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. The ruling Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party, ABLP, is defending its economic record and doubling down on its no income tax policy ahead of the April 30 general election. The party launched its manifesto on Monday. The document, branded around a Renaissance agenda, sets out a range of economic and social policies, including plans to expand investment across tourism, infrastructure, and emerging sectors, while maintaining economic stability. Speaking at the launch, Prime Minister Gaston Brown said the manifesto is rooted in delivery and designed to guide the country's next phase of economic development.
The manifesto is not a catalogue of promises, but a covenant with the people, grounded in delivery, shaped by experience, and directed to the future.
Brown pointed directly to the manifesto as evidence of what he described as a strong economic turnaround, citing recovery from global shocks, improved fiscal performance, and rising incomes.
Navigated global turbulences, including the COVID-19 pandemic and repeated hurricane devastations. But on each occasion, we have stabilized our economy and built back our economy bigger and better. We have restored confidence, and we have done so while cushioning our people from the harshest impacts of forces beyond our shores. We have consistently brought the ship of state safely from crises to stability and from stability to growth. That is not rhetoric. That is leadership proven in action.
He said the policies outlined in the manifesto also target cost of living pressures with measures such as fuel subsidies and tax relief.
We will maintain our policy of no personal income tax. That is a strong philosophical position of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. And it is proven that taxing direct income of individuals is a disincentive. And that is one of the reasons why our economy is so buoyant, because of our tax policy of eliminating personal income tax, thereby increasing the disposable incomes of our people, especially the middle class. We will resist any increases in ABSD. So we're not coming here to make outlandish promises and then to increase taxes. So there will be tax stability going into our new term.
That was leader of the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party and Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown. In other news, Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, is calling for urgent reform of the global financial system, arguing that small states are still not adequately supported within international institutions decades after being established. Speaking at the Global Progressive Mobilization Summit in Barcelona on Saturday, Motley says the current global order is failing to support vulnerable nations, particularly small island developing states.
I am here because the international community has not made it possible for small states to be able to breathe properly, for small states to participate in a global community, in an international rules-based order that is essential for us to survive.
She points to what she describes as systemic inequality within global institutions, arguing that decades-old frameworks have not evolved to reflect the realities of developing nations.
I am here because 80 years after the Bretton Woods institutions were created, and created in the image of the handful of countries that existed at the time, they still do not see small states. They still do not see developing states. They are still prepared to accept that 600 million people can go in the world without basic access to electricity, that water and food insecurity is as large as it is, regrettably, among the majority of our people. And the best kept secret is that the majority of poor people do not live in poor countries globally. The majority of poor people live in middle-income and upper-middle-income countries globally.
That was Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley. The West Indian Tobacco Company, WITCO, is calling for a more measured approach to taxation as the government of Trinidad and Tobago prepares for its upcoming mid-year budget review. The company says the review presents a critical opportunity for policymakers to reassess the impact of the recent 100% increase in excise taxes, recommending that any future changes be implemented gradually rather than through sharp adjustments. The mid-year budget review is a standard fiscal exercise in Trinidad and Tobago where the government evaluates economic performance and may adjust tax policies and spending halfway through the fiscal year. The call comes as Whitco commissions a new climate-controlled warehouse, part of a multi-million-dollar investment aimed at strengthening its logistics and supply chain operations. Speaking at the recent ribbon-cutting ceremony for Whitco's new warehouse was Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism, Satyakama Maharaj, who welcomed the investment as a strong signal of private sector confidence. He says projects of this nature are key to expanding Trinidad and Tobago's non-energy sector and building a more resilient economy. Whitco also reaffirmed its commitment to working with the government to address challenges such as illicit trade while continuing long-term investment in the manufacturing sector. The company maintains that the upcoming budget review will be critical in balancing government revenue needs with sustainable business growth. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 19 securities, of which 9 advanced, 7 declined, and 3 traded firm. Today's winners are Prestige Holdings, Ansa McCall, JMMB Group, and National Enterprises, while leading the losers are Trinidad and Tobago NGL, Point Lisas Industrial Port Development Corporation, First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, and Guardian Holdings. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All TNT Index advanced by 22.06 points to close at 1,399.88. The Composite Index advanced by 14.21 points to close at 965.53. The Cross-Listed Index advanced by 0.81 points to close at 70.07. The SME Index advanced by 0.29 points to close at 83.20. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
I'm trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
I'm also trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
Start a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Check jamstockx.com for information and a list of registered stockbrokers. You can also call the Jamaica Stock Exchange at 876-967-3271 for information on how to begin. I am achieving my financial goals.
I'm achieving my financial goals.
Welcome back. In international news, a stark warning from the World Bank Group has highlighted a widening gap between the number of young people entering the workforce and the jobs available to them, raising urgent concerns about economic stability in developing countries. Speaking at the World Bank Group's Priorities Series, Director for Gender at the World Bank Group, Robin Mearns, says over the next decade, more than 1 billion young people are expected to reach working age across developing economies. However, he notes only 400,000 jobs will be created in that time, posing significant challenges.
Over the next 10 years or so, over 1 billion young people will come of working age in developing countries, and yet only about 400,000 jobs are expected to be created. Closing this jobs gap for everybody is one of the most pressing development challenges of our time.
Mearns emphasized that one of the most underutilized yet powerful solutions is expanding women's participation in the economy. He says it is not just a social priority, but a core business and growth strategy.
So what are we doing about it? The idea is simple: to find jobs, to create businesses, to create employment. Women need access to opportunities.
In the meantime, the World Bank Group has set an ambitious goal to expand social protection programs to 500 million people by 2030, positioning income support, skills training, and child care services as critical tools for boosting workforce participation. Robin Mearns described social protection as the first rung in a ladder of opportunity needed to help women enter the labor market or start businesses. These programs include cash transfers, job matching services, and training initiatives designed to build skills.
Think of it as a ladder of opportunity. The first of these is social protection. Think income support, skills and training programs, job matching, childcare, the kinds of support that women need in order to enter the labor market or start a new business. Our target is to reach 500 million people with social protection by 2030.
That was Director for Gender and the World Bank Group, at the World Bank Group, Robin Mearns. The CAC 40 gave up its most modest early gains and ended the Tuesday down about 1.1% at 8,236, marking its lowest close in over a week. The decline came as uncertainty grew over U.S.-Iran negotiations ahead of an upcoming ceasefire deadline. President Trump stated in a recent interview that he anticipates a fantastic deal with Iran, arguing the country has no other choice, while also indicating he does not plan to extend the two-week truce after more than a month of conflict. At the same time, shipping activity through the Strait of Hormuz remains largely stalled. On the corporate side, Safran dropped nearly 7% to lead losses after Jefferies downgraded the stock to hold from buy. Thales also fell sharply, losing almost 6%, despite reporting better than expected sales as investors focused on weakness in its cybersecurity division and a cautious near-term outlook. In contrast, ST Microelectronics edged up 0.9%, while Total Energies gained 0.8%, supported by rising oil prices. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items, such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-923-5111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, Jamaica expands medicinal cannabis industry with new permit programs. Regionally, Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party defends economic record ahead of April 30 general election. And internationally, World Bank Group sounds alarm on jobs gap as surge in youth workforce outpaces job creation. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rashel Moncrieffe. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, Your business, your source.
Hi, I'm Ricardo Allen, founder and CEO of One-on-One, and you're watching the CBX, the Caribbean's Business Exchange. Your region, your business, your source.